Hi everyone, it's Loki, and I am here with class number 13. Yes, lesson number 13 is, guess what, about divination, augury, whatever you like to call it. I'm going to go over about 3 to 4 types that I actually know and actually use. We're going to go off with the first being, obviously, tarot. If you use tarot, you do realize that every deck has a different meaning for certain cards. Like the elf deck here, they have one word meaning and then a story. I don't personally like using those, but some people do. I use this on request only because it's something I don't like using very often, but they are very pretty. Another deck that I have is the Golden Dawn, which they're very pretty too, but they have more in-depth definitions and more than one meaning to some of the things, different words depending on how you like to phrase it. But with that deck, this deck, you also have to realize you have duplicates of both strength and justice. So basically, you choose either or for in the deck. So like, I would normally have her for strength and her for justice. But you have the reverse of where she's also strength or she's also justice. So normally I leave these two out. But you'll have decks with duplicates. And that's alright. Sometimes you use all of them, sometimes you don't use all of them. It really depends on the person and the augury and what you're pulling it for. And there's a booklet. Each tarot deck normally comes with either one of those really big books or a small book like this that has information, and sometimes it has it in multiple languages. Sometimes it normally just has it in English and Spanish. This one actually has it in French and German. So apparently Golden Dawn jumps out there further. But it also has it in Spanish as well. The deck that most of you have ever seen me use, which my dog ate the box to, and damaged the Ten of Swords, so they don't like this card in this deck, apparently, is the Morgan Tarot. Oh, Morgan Green Tarot. These cards are about as old as older than I am. This one was printed in 1979. Yeah. 1986 is my birthday year. So, yeah, they're older than me. They're ones I like to use. They're ones that are more connected to me. You can keep your tarot, you can keep them in the boxes, you can keep them in the cases they come in. Soren keeps their tarot deck, which is the Necromancer deck, in its box and the little bag that's in there with them. For now, this deck is kept in a little bag, so I don't lose any of them. But tarot is almost self-explanatory because the book does have an idea of how to do it. They put out a layout that works best for the deck, that might work best for you. I normally do past, present, and future layout, and any card that randomly jumps out, I will read as well. It might have something to do with what's going on, but these are more close to answering a specific question, or specific what's going to go on. Another type of divination, and not always the most reliable either, because wind, you might be shaking, the jolts. Normally yes and no questions. Normally you can use them to spell out things on a board. I don't suggest it. It's confusing to me. But you can use them to simple, am I going to do this? Is this possible for me? Can this happen for me? You also have to realize with these, they're also very in tune to being what you want them to say. So, pendulums may not be as reliable as you think, but they are a topic of augury or fortune telling or divination, as you'd like to call it. But that being said, yes, I do sometimes use these, sometimes I don't, sometimes I ignore them, and sometimes, yeah, They're there and they're annoying. You can find them in any kind of shape, size. You can even use a necklace as one. You can pretty much use anything dangling from a chain as one. I have them, yes. Oren has one, yes. Most people I know at least have one. Are they great tools? Sometimes. Are they accurate? Not all the time. Obviously, another divination or looking into something is the board. I'm leaving it on my altar right now because too much stuff is relying on it to stay there so it doesn't fall off. It is kind of like the pendulums. It's hit or miss. Because you don't know what's directing that, and it could be influenced by what's going on in here. Or influenced by the other asshole that's using the board with you. Yes, your friends can screw with you when it comes to the boards. That's the big problem right there. You have to be able, if you're doing it by yourself, good on you. But you have to realize you might be influencing it. Oof, I got dust on this container. Another augury or anything, and most of you know this, I use them. Runes. Or wands. Here's the difference, though, between runes and wands. Runes, you take them, you pull out 5, and you cast them on the table. You have to literally lift them up to see what it is, if it's upside down. That was a bad casting. But seeing that they were all upside down for me, none of them crossed. The thing is, with runes, you take them as what they are. You don't necessarily get a book. Sometimes you have to learn on your own what runes mean what. I had an area in here that actually told me what runes was what at one point. I'm trying to remember if this one actually has what runes are, or if I need to go. It's chord magic in here. Figure. Yeah, I haven't read this book in a little while, but sometimes you have to go and look up what runes mean. Not all of them come with a little booklet as easily as a tarot deck does. Different runes obviously mean different things. Do I use these very often? No, but I should. Do I suggest you learn them? You should. Why not? I mean, it'd be something cool to learn. You can also learn the runic alphabet. You can learn a lot of things. I mean, figuring out how to read runes might help out in the long run. I obviously store them in this, because they're easy to get out and pull in, but sometimes when I throw them out of a bag. Mine aren't made out of, but I think it was bloodstone, I don't remember, with golden letters. You can get them made out of any type of stone, rock, wood. Eventually we will be making our own runes on here. That will be a fun crafting lesson. I just have to get all the wood in the wood burner. But you always will have one that is blank. That's fine. You need that blank one. It's like having a blank tarot card, except for you don't. Casting wands is a little bit different. I think there's 25 wands for the trees of Ireland. I would have to double check on that one. It's something that I want to learn, and I will teach you what I'm learning. But with the wands, you have to interpret if one's crossing one, or one's close to one, or how things are set when you cast them. They are a bit different, a lot different than runes and than tarot, than anything. All types of divinations are a lot different than each other. Are they all accurate? No. Is everything 100% set in stone with these divinations? No. The thing is they are divinations. They are maybe a glimpse or a confusing confusing look into what might happen. Keyword, what might. Doesn't mean it's going to. I mean, I can pull out a thing saying the world's going to end, da-da-da-da-da, or because of this or that. Not necessarily true, and if anything's that accurate reading, then I'm a little concerned about things. Divination and fortune telling and reading of stuff, sometimes do not put your stock of life in on it. If you think that, oh, I have to live my life by pulling tarot cards every single day for myself to see how my day's gonna go, don't. That is a bad routine, and you may not like what you see, or you may start doubting what they are. Remember, when it comes to anything, like with runes, you choose a set that calls to you, that you like the most, that feels right in your hands, that you hold, and you're like, these are mine. I need to get these, or find a way to get these. Same with pendulums. It's what feels right for you, or because I will admit I have bought ones because, oh look, they're pretty. I ended up giving those away as gifts. I didn't feel like they were mine to have. These I've had for a long time. You can tell by the wax and super glue repair on this one, which is right up there. This one obviously has stone and oils in it. And yes, I've had to glue that stone right there back in, along with the tip. Same with tarot cards. Go with what feels right for you. Go with what's easiest to read. I would say for any starters, you want to go with a basic deck, kind of like the Morgan Green Tarot is a basic deck that is easy to read, easy to understand, and is a commonly used one. Go with what's easy. Don't go off and go, I'm going to go get the elf deck because I think they're pretty and perfect, and realize that they are mostly story deck. That's basically what this is. It tells a story. But it does have some divination stuff, which is just a one-word thing, like the resolution. But it doesn't explain. Where in this deck, it somewhat explains it. Or even in this one, it gives definitions. Find what works for you. And in the end, that's kind of what it is with divination stuff. You find what works for you, what you drive with. You might do great with runes. You might do great with wands. You might do great with cards. You might do great with pendulums or boards. But remember, a lot of this is on a suggestion. Some of it is also accurate. Some of it is not. I will admit, I've had readings that aren't that accurate. I've had somebody get mad at me because of my view on something else and go, well, I don't want a card reading after I already pulled the cards. Like, well, I already pulled them. This is what they were. If you don't like it, oh well. If you want to keep this, go ahead. But just remember that when a goddess of death in the battle, and it's also seen as sometimes the Trinity, can be seen as terrifying, because I'm sorry, the Morgan is supposed to kind of be a terrifying figure unless she's in being seductive. I can't English. But to me, she is a terrifying woman, but I also respect her. I respect her strength and her power, but doesn't mean that the deity doesn't scare the hell out of me. Like with anything, readings, divination, and all that is how you interpret it. Not necessarily how the person who pulls them interprets it. I can pull anything from anyone and tell them what the cards mean, what I feel it means, but it may not match the situation that they feel it is, and it may mean something different for them. I normally go in not knowing the situation. That is the easiest way for me to do it, because that means it leaves it open to interpretation for you, or for the person that I'm pulling for. So with that being said, divination, yeah, something you can look into, something you can have fun with, but remember, to tell people don't put 100% of your stakes into this. Fortune telling and future telling can be a very tricky and non-trustworthy thing, because our lives are always changing and our fates and our paths are always changing. We're not set in stone on what's going to happen to us. We're not set in stone on what we're going to do. Just because you might see something like, oh, this is going to happen in my future, I don't like this, maybe I'm going to try doing this instead. There's that too. You have to realize nothing is 100%. Magic, telling, any of that stuff, nothing is 100% definite. But with that, I'm going to end this lesson. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I look forward to getting out 14 for you. In the description below is going to be a link to not only Heathen Haven, but my Facebook that I somewhat check, and my Patreon. Yes, I have a Patreon now because it kind of is starting to be where I need to do that if you want more videos more than once a week, perhaps. Granted, this week you've gotten 3. The tiers are 1, 5, and 10. Nothing too big busty. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to help me on Patreon. If you do, I'll give you a shout out. Like Leon was the first one. Thank you. This will also give you access to extra things on the Discord group, which I will be putting a link out for eventually after I get everything fully set up. Patrons obviously get first grabs at the Discord group, and they also get special things like special names and special access to things that normal users do not get to. But with that, I'm going to say have a good day and blessed be all.